Trivia Parashas Vayetze. In this parsha we find two words which is written in one word but is read two separate words. What is that word? The answer is Bo God. Vatoimer Leo Bo God. Vatikro es Shmoi God. It is written Bo God, Loshen Begido, like Rashi says, and we read it Bo God, and God came. We find in the Torah two other places with a similar halacha, two words written like one word but is read two separate words. Where are those two other places? The answer is one's in Parshas Shmois and the last one is in Parshas Bezois Habrocho. In Shmois, by Moshe Rabbeinu, Vayomer Elov Hashem, Ma ze biyotcho. Vayomer mate. The word Ma ze is written in one word but is read Ma ze. The last one is in Parshas Bezois Habrocho. Miminoi eish dos lomo is written eish dos, but is read eish dos. So altogether we have three places in the Torah that is written one and is read two. Bo God, ma ze, eish dos. Similarly, the word gal eid means gal eid, separate, but is written and said like one word, galed. The Mogen Avram in Simen Reish Pei Beis makes an akdoma. That Simen speaks about Mave Sedre, and he says that why do we have paragraphs, psuchos and stumos in the Torah? Those paragraphs was given to Moshe time to think ben parsha le parsha. And the question is, if a person is allowed to stop between those paragraphs and get a different aliyah. Can you stop in the middle of a paragraph and give somebody an aliyah? And he brings down that the Zohar Kodesh says that you may not stop in any parsha that Moshe Rabbeinu did not stop. In other words, it's mashma from the Zohar that you may not give an aliyah in the middle of a parasha, paragraph. In front of every paragraph there's a pei or there's a samech. A pei means a parasha pesucho and a samech means a parasha sesuma. What is the difference between a parsha psucho and a parsha stuma? A parsha psucho starts at the beginning of the line. A parsha sesuma starts at the middle of the line. Between each paragraph, you have to have space of 9 letters. A parsha psucho, the space is in the previous line, and a parsha stuma, the space is in that same line. The question is, Parashas Vayetze is all one big paragraph, one parsha. According to the Zohar, how is it possible that we should give several aliyahs on that parsha? It's one big paragraph. And the same kasha is in a second parsha in the Torah, that the entire Sedre is only one big paragraph. Which other Sedre besides Vayetze is only one big paragraph? And the answer is, it's Parshas Miketz. Parshas Vayetze and Parshas Miketz, both parshas are only one big paragraph. In the times of Chazal, the Baal Koire was the person who got the aliyah. And the first person, the Kohen, he made the first brocha, and he made the last brocha at the end of the 7th aliyah, which means he used to stand next to the Sefer Torah. He made the first brocha, and after all the 7 aliyahs was given, he made the last brocha, and in between nobody else made an extra birchas HaTorah. According to that meaning, we can understand pshat in the Zohar, that you're not allowed to give extra brochas in the middle of a paragraph. You're allowed to give aliyahs without an extra brocha. But our meaning is very difficult to understand, but we give 7 aliyahs and we make separate brochas. So the Mogen Avram wants to say that al kochoch we have to say a new pshat, that you are not allowed to stop a parsha Shachris Shabbos in the middle of a paragraph, which means the end of each parsha has to be at the end of a paragraph. And that's what we find in all the parshas. At the end of the Sedre, there is a triple pei or a triple samech, which means that the next parsha is a psucho or a stuma. But this answer is very difficult to understand because we do find two parshas that end and start in the middle of a paragraph. Not like the Mogen Avram says. That's Parashas Vigash and Parashas Viexi. Between Vigash and ויחי, there is no stop of a paragraph like the Rambam says. There's no psucho or a stuma. If you look at the end of Parashas Vigash, there's no triple pei or triple samech. It's in the middle of a paragraph. In this parsha we have a couple of shemas that we have to know how to write it. Before you write a shem, you have to have in mind and say that you're writing it a shem, kedusha is a shem. But the shem has to be kodesh, has to be Hashem's name. You mekadesh something which is not the shem is a question in the poskim whether is kosher. Once you mekadesh the shem, it's eino nimchak. You cannot erase it. But if the shem chol, you're not allowed to be mekadesh. But when we have a suffix, if it's kodesh or chol, you have to make a tnai. I'm mekadesh the shem al menas that is kodesh. But if it's not kodesh, I'm not mekadesh the shem. We have the word base kel is a suffix if the word kel is kodosh. We are mekadesh besofik. Also, we are makbit not to divide the word base kel in two separate lines. It has to be written in one line because it's one word. The same thing is if somebody has two names, Avrom Yankev, you should write in the ksuba in one line, not in two separate lines. Hatachas Elokim Anoichi is kodosh. Ve'eye imcho is chol. Anoichi hokel is kodesh, even though the word hokel doesn't appear any place in the Torah. Base kel, second time, is also suffix. Vayovo Elokim El Lovon is a suffix. Yesh lo El Yodi is chol. Ve'elokei Avichem is kodesh. Elokei Ovi kodesh. Elokei Avraham kodesh. Ve'elohei Nochor chol. Elokei Avichem suffix. Machne Elokim kodesh. So we have one posuk that has three shemes. One is kodesh, one is chol, and one is suffix. What is that posuk? Elokei Avraham ve'elohei Nochor Elokei Avichem. Three shemes in one posuk with three different halachos.